I remember waking up to the sharp pain of cat litter glued to my bare foot again. Combine that with a house that constantly smelled like an unclean zoo, and I was losing my mind. Finding the right litter feels impossible, right? You buy one, it tracks everywhere. You buy another, it simply does not clump. I have spent months testing dozens of options to save you the headache and the money. Today, I am ranking the top 6 clumping litters I have actually put to the test. Wait until you see why my number 1 pick completely changed my home. 6. Fresh Step Extreme Multi-Cat Clumping Litter. Well, I know this one is incredibly popular. You see it in almost every grocery store. I picked it up thinking it would be a reliable standby for my multi-cat setup. When it comes to the actual clumping, it does exactly what it promises. The clay binds quickly and creates these hard blocks that are honestly pretty easy to scoop out. I mean, you will not have to chisel it off the bottom of the pan very often. The scent on this stuff is intense. I mean, it is heavily perfumed. Sure, it covers up the ammonia smell, but it replaces it with a heavy artificial floral scent that frankly gave me a headache. Then there is the dust. Oh boy. Every time I poured a new box into the litter pan, a massive cloud of dust would just completely take over the laundry room. You end up breathing it in and it settles on the furniture nearby. Bottom line on Fresh Step is that it works if you're on a tight budget and keep the box in a very well-ventilated garage. But for living spaces, we can definitely do better. 5. Boxie Probiotic Cat Clumping Litter. I had really high hopes for this one because the packaging promises a lot of impressive things. Let me explain. The big selling point here is the probiotics. The idea is that they actively destroy odor-causing bacteria. And to be fair to Boxie, this actually works. The odor control was noticeably better than the Fresh Step, keeping the room smelling mostly like nothing at all. The clumping is also pretty unique. It forms these flat clumps right on the surface. That makes scooping super quick because you are not digging deep into the corners. Well, as long as you keep the litter deep enough. If it gets thin, it turns into concrete on the bottom of the box. But we really have to talk about the tracking. This litter is very fine, almost like beach sand. I mean, my cats absolutely loved digging in it, but they brought half the beach out with them on their paws. I was vacuuming constantly. So, it is a decent option if odor is your absolute biggest enemy, but given the premium price tag, the amount of sweeping I had to do just did not make it worth ranking any higher on my list. 4. Petkit Mixed Cat Litter Fast Clumping. This one is genuinely interesting because it does not just stick to one material, it is actually a clever blend of tofu litter and bentonite clay. I was a little skeptical of mixing materials at first, but when you actually test it, you realize they did this for a very good reason. The tofu pellets stop the tracking dead in its tracks, while the clay particles fill the gaps to make everything clump together tightly. The clumping speed here is fantastic. I timed it during my test runs and it locks moisture away almost instantly. This means the liquid never reaches the bottom of the tray. I mean, that alone saves so much scrubbing time on cleaning day. Petkit also advertises this as flushable. Now, I am always a little paranoid about my plumbing, so while I did test flushing small clumps and it dissolved fine, I would still suggest throwing the larger chunks in the trash just to be totally safe. Overall, this is a really solid middle ground. You get the odor control of clay without the nightmare tracking. It's a smart hybrid that honestly solves a lot of daily annoyances for cat owners. SmartCat All-Natural Clumping Cat Litter. If you have never used a grass seat litter before, this one will completely blow your mind. It definitely did for me. First off, the bag is incredibly light. I am so used to lugging around 40-pound boxes of clay that nearly break my back. Pouring this out feels practically weightless, and the texture is soft enough that my cats took to it immediately without any fuss. But here's what really matters. The clumping power on this grass litter is just unreal. It forms these rock-solid balls that absolutely will not break apart when you scoop them. I dropped a clump from waist high just to test it, and it stayed completely intact. Because it's just grass seed, there's no silica dust to worry about. You're not breathing in any harsh chemicals. The natural earthy smell does a surprisingly great job at trapping odors too. The only tiny catch is that because it is so incredibly light, a little bit can get kicked out of the box if you have an enthusiastic digger. But honestly, it's so easy to clean up that I hardly even mind. 2. Tuft and Paw Really Great Cat Litter. Yes, that is literally the name, and well, it actually lives up to it. This is a premium tofu litter that totally changes the game. When you open the bag, you will notice it looks like tiny little white pellets instead of gravel or sand. I will admit it looks a little weird at first, but these little pellets are the secret to keeping your floors totally clean. Tracking is practically zero with this stuff. I mean, my floors stayed spotless for an entire week of testing. The pellets are just too heavy to stick to the fur between your cat's toes, so they stay right where they belong, inside the box. It is also genuinely dust-free. I poured the entire bag aggressively, just trying to see a cloud, and absolutely nothing happened. Plus, the odor control is excellent. It just locks everything away quietly and cleanly. It is definitely on the pricier side. You are paying a premium for that spotless home feeling. But if your main struggle is constantly stepping on stray litter in your bare feet, this is absolutely worth the investment. Ultra Clumping Microcrystals Cat Litter. Let me tell you, I was not expecting a crystal litter to win this. Most crystal litters do not clump at all. They just absorb until they turn a gross yellow. But this is totally different. The crystals are tiny, almost like a very fine grain of sugar. It gives the cats that soft, sandy feel they love to dig in. But the magic happens when it gets wet. It actually clumps, and it clumps hard. The silica macrocrystals trap the moisture and the odor instantly. I mean, literally instantly. I tested it right after my cat used the box, and the smell was completely gone. What makes this my absolute favorite is how long it lasts. Because you are scooping out solid, tight clumps, the rest of the litter stays perfectly clean and dry. One bag lasted me significantly longer than any clay or natural option I tried. It is the perfect balance. You get the unbeatable odor control of silica crystals combined with the easy scooping of a clumping litter. If you want a litter box that you completely forget is even in the room, this is the one you need to buy right now.